Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. It is Coffee Ann time here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. And at the Coffee Ann table, we're going to say good morning to Jay Levinson. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Joe.
From North Smithfield EMS, right?
Yes.
All right. What's your rank again? Is it captain?
I'm captain. I'm deputy director of emergency management of the agency.
Very good.
Yeah.
Also joining us at the Coffee Ann table, sitting down into his chair quite comfortably, Dave Richards. Good morning, Dave.
Yes, it is comfortable. Now that you mention, I should move this chair to my office, huh?
And we'll be joined a little later on by Melissa Murray, who will be with us relatively soon. But we asked Jay to come on in because...
so this is the voice we've been hearing now for the last month or so.
Every year, North Smithfield puts on their CERT program to train lay people in how they can help out in emergency situations. So tell us what CERT's all about, Jay.
Thank you, Joe. The CERT, it stands for Citizens Emergency Response Team Training. And this was a program that was developed by the Los Angeles Fire Department back in the late 70s because they realized that in times of disaster, they might not have the capability of personnel to reach out to people, to assist people in times of disaster. So they offered this program to the public where people were trained on fire safety, emergency preparedness, disaster psychology, medical operations, and topics of that nature to help people. And the programs developed nationwide, where about 35 to 40 states around the country now offer this program at the state, local level. Also, many businesses throughout the country, universities, schools, also have a CERT program. This program that we offer, once people complete the course, get certified, they have the option of becoming a member of a CERT team, a local CERT team, but that's completely optional. Mm-hmm. The good thing about this is that with this training, it gives people a little bit of basic understanding, or I call it a safety mindset, to prepare themselves, their families in times of disasters. And we talk about emergency preparedness is a big thing, big topic that we talk about. So it encompasses many subjects. We throw a lot of information at people over the course of an 8-week program. We realize that obviously there's a lot of information to absorb, but at the end of this course, you have a basic understanding of preparedness. And we've had over 3,000 people since 2000 take this class. So we're good at what we do, and we encourage people, area residents, who are willing to make the commitment for this 8 weeks to take the class with us.
And it's so important because, especially in disaster situations or emergency situations, time is of the essence.
Right.
To use a good cliche.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we want the pros to show up, but it takes a while for fire trucks and EMS to arrive wherever the situation may be.
Exactly.
And do you want to be that person sitting by the side of the lake, not knowing what to do if someone's having a trouble in the water? No.
Right. Exactly.
So tell us, in North Smithfield, when does the class start?
The class starts on April 8th. It's on Tuesday nights, runs from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the North Smithfield Emergency Management Office at 83 Green Street in the Town Hall at our EMA office. It goes for 8 weeks through June 3rd. And it's, like I said, it's about 3.5 hours a night. A lot of great information, free of charge. At the conclusion of the class, people are certified, and we also give away a really neat backpack with all kinds of great stuff to have in times of emergencies.
Melissa Murray has joined us at the coffee and table. Good morning to you, Melissa. How are you?
I'm good. I'm well. Sorry.
I'm well. You're okay. Go and say that.
No, I was always corrected as a child.
You're not good.
Well, I'm good sometimes, but I'm doing well. Thank you.
Okay, fine. All right, and glad to hear, Jay, that the class is free. But do you have to be 18? Is it for adults only?
We actually have had some high school kids from Coventry, from a basic first aid class that was being taught in that community who actually took the class.
Okay.
But so we are open to people under the age. I would say probably 60 would probably be the minimum.
Cutoff time?
Cutoff time.
Okay. Yeah. And so tell us, what do the people that take the class, what do they learn? What are some of the specifics?
Well, the first week we really talk about preparedness, and that's a big subject because when we talk about preparedness, that encompasses a lot of areas, from the exterior of your home to the interior of your home. Developing or having an emergency preparedness kit, very important for the home, for the business, for your car, just important stuff. And the preparedness needs for everybody are different. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is maybe you have family members who are on oxygen or certain types of other medical equipment, medications. So in times of an emergency where you're cut off, or you're limited, to be able to access those needs, to be prepared for that. If you have young children, certain precautions you have to take. So it involves a lot of areas. And when I talk about preparedness for the family home and such, I also talk about when you go away, when you travel. Very important. Being aware of your surroundings, where you are, a restaurant, a theater, a large area, you're staying in a hotel. Do you know where the exits are? Another important thing, what floor are you on in a hotel? Suppose you're elderly and you have trouble moving and you have to evacuate. There's a lot of concerns you have that people be aware of. Like I said, it's a safety mindset. So we talk about preparedness. We talk about fire safety for the home, very important. Having a plan, medical operations, basic first aid, in medical operations as far as helping out if you had to set up an area to treat patients or help out, how that would be done. Disaster psychology is another topic of our class. How a disaster impacts the victim and the responder. Very important. And we talk about as a CERT team member, that the compassion, understanding, emotional intelligence you have to display in times like that, because something saying like I know how you feel, or things like that don't work, because you really don't know how people feel. Right. It's just important factors to talk about. It's just very important of communication, keeping people close, understanding what's going through. Also, another thing is with certain members is be aware of the buddy system, because it impacts people. Same thing with firefighters, police, EMS. They have a situation, a disaster, a situation. They come back, they talk about it. They discuss what happened. As a group, they discuss things. It's just important to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's an area. We talk about CERT organization as far as if you decide to join a CERT team, how that functions, how that's organized, how that blends in with an emergency operation, working with other rescuers and what are involved in. So basically, you get basic training. We're not fire, we're not police. We're simply trained volunteers that help, and provide a lot of great information and can help out, But it's something that it's been very successful around the country.
Do the people that take the class, when the class is done and they've basically graduated, do they receive like a wallet card of some sort that says they're CERT trained only if something were to happen, and they come upon it, where they could show the card to firefighters or police and say, I'm CERT trained, I can help? something like
Well,
that.
we get certification.
Yeah.
They get certified, but if they apply to become a member of our CERT team, they'll get an ID. But the class is open to anybody over the age of like 16. It's open, and it's great training. If they have the option after they graduate, they can apply to join a CERT team. There is a vetting process when you apply to a team like that. But obviously, that's something that we do offer.
All right. When you talk about the psychology part and saying, "Oh, I know what you're going through," or something like that, it always reminds me of the time that I was a volunteer firefighter back in my teens, and talking to the full-time firefighters there, who were looking to move on from getting out of Cumberland and moving on to Providence. And one of the things they had to do, I don't know if this is still true, but back then you were taken to a fire tower, which was basically, I think it was 5 or 6 stories high, and they had to jump off the fire tower into the net. And so if you went up there and took a look down and said, "Not today," that was okay. But you had one more chance. 2 strikes and you're out, not 3. And if you did, because they wanted you to know, they wanted the firefighters to know what someone is going through who has to jump off a burning building. And so if you've done it, yes, you do know what it's like to fall.
Trust me, I'll catch you.
That's right. And so now you got to trust it. And if you couldn't do it, the Providence Fire didn't hire you. Okay, try again some other time, but you had to jump off the tower. I'm like, wow, tough.
Yeah.
It looks small from when you're standing on the ground until you.
I had trouble getting on a 6-foot ladder. I have a heights thing. I could never. But glad that there are people who are that
can
brave.
do that. So in terms of CERT, Jay, is there a way to teach people not to panic in situations? Because that bad things can happen when people panic. And how do you teach them not to panic?
Well, through the training that we offer, that's important to have a basic knowledge. The key thing to understand is your safety is number one. Do not attempt anything that if you're not trained or you're not sure what you're doing, don't do it. Now, that's the important thing. You don't want to just jump into something you're not sure about. And that's very important for any first responder. It's very, very important to understand that. So through our training, it gives people in these subjects that we teach for those 8 weeks to get a basic understanding of when to attempt to help and not, and that develops your confidence to some degree, gives you a knowledge. Also, functioning in a CERT team, once you have a team together, there's certain skill sets that people have.
Okay.
That's important because you have these people from different backgrounds that can help, and individually and as a team, it's a greater assistance you can give people. I mean, we've had people from all vocations. We've had attorneys, we've had nurses, we've had teachers, we've had engineers, we've had plumbers, police, we've had retired federal agents, we've had all types of people, all backgrounds. So everybody has something to offer. And if you're sort of bringing that together, I think it gives you a little bit of confidence in how to handle things.
Now, you teach the class, but do you bring in other experts to teach in certain areas?
I do. I have my co-instructor has been worked with me for several years. His name is Leo Kennedy. He's a former deputy chief of Cranston Fire Department. He was in charge of EMS. Great instructor, very knowledgeable. We've been working a long time, for several years. And the two of us are a good team because we talk about some pretty emotional subjects at times, but we try to deliver the material in such a way that it's fun but knowledgeable and get our people involved in the class. Yes.
Okay, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program. If you have any questions for Jay and all of the entire North Smithfield CERT program, Citizens Emergency Response Team, and the class that's going to start on April 8th, give us a call, 766-1240. We'll pass the notes along to Jay so he can answer them, but we'll be back with more here on the Coffee and program.
By the way, Thank you for.
All right. Computer's not working. Excellent. Got a nice little spinny circle there going.
Okay, so we'll just
so we'll just keep moving right along.
We'll just wait. All righty.
So the class starts on April 8th. It's an 8-week class. So
Join the Alzheimer's Association
stops.
Rhode Island chapter for our free Caregivers Journey and Research Conference, Thursday, April 17th at the Crown Plaza in Warwick. Numerous breakout sessions, opportunities to connect with statewide resources, and professional respite care will be provided. Registration is required. Register today online at alz.org/RI. That's alz.org/RI.
All right, we'll see if we move on to some other things. It's an 8-week class. It starts April 8th, goes to June 3rd. And so the question is, you really got to commit to the 8 weeks.
Yes.
What if someone misses a class?
Okay. So what we offer makeup classes. So we understand that there may be something that might come up where people have to miss a class. We have makeup classes that we offer, but there's certain weeks that we really encourage people to attend. When we talk about fire safety, we actually teach people how to put out a small fire. We at the fire department we have a fire pan, and we actually people get in the equipment that we provide, the masks, the goggles, the jackets we have, and they actually learn how to.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Okay, we're back on the Coffee and program. So you would just talk about some of the classes that you really encourage people to show up, because you got the fire safety class, but they can make up classes if they happen to miss
It
one.
does happen, yeah.
So that's good. How many people have signed up for the classes so far? Have you got a number yet?
We have about 6, but usually
Okay.
it will come together the last week. We usually find people, it just sort of comes together because people are looking at their schedule, commitments to what's going on. But a class of 15 would be great. We're trying to get at least 15 in the class. So there is still room. There is room still available in the class.
Do you top out a certain number?
Well, I would say it would probably be 20 would be the max for the class. Yeah.
And how do people sign up to be for this class?
Okay. We have our website. It's nsema.org. That is our website. Also, you can contact me directly, and my phone number is 401-230-9327, and I'd be more than happy to talk about the class with you. Any questions you might have, always willing to do that, and really get the word out. And it usually comes together the last week all the time. That's usually how it works.
Oh, sure. As people get their schedules together and say, can I make it? Can I make that commitment for the 8 weeks? Are we going anywhere? And things like that. But it does start on April 8th. It goes until June 3rd. And it is a commitment. So you're looking at 3.5 hours. Three and a half hours every Tuesday night.
It's not 3 hours. I have to say that I'd rather.
Well, I'm sure you take a break.
What would you say?
You take a break in the middle.
We have a break, but the other thing is, I'd rather tell people till 9:30 rather than
and then leave early.
Right. Well, then tell people 9 o'clock, and that class runs
And then runs late.
And there were certain weeks where there's a lot of material that we're presenting, and that might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So
Or
I'd
people
rather-
may have questions, right? and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. We'd rather give people the worst case scenario, but it's not 9:30 all the But it's fun. You learn a lot. We provide refreshments. We have a graduation party at the end of the end of the class. We have guest speakers, and it's free. It's information you can learn. We provide all the material for you. There's a lot of information you can learn. You can pass on to your family, your friends, your business associates. I'm a safety trainer in my job, in my full-time position, where I for 5 different states where I do training for different accounts. And we push it out to them because if your family is safe in times of a disaster and situations, you can get people to come to work. They're prepared. They're preparing their families. They're preparing for situations. You're preparing your business. There's all kinds of factors involved in that. And as you mentioned earlier about confidence, it's you're prepared. Not one of those people who runs to the grocery store when a storm is approaching, looking for water, looking for batteries, looking for flashlights, bread, whatever it is. Being prepared, having your home prepared, your family prepared. And that's all part of what you mentioned about confidence, not stressing, being
Right.
ready for what's happening.
And it's hands-on. A lot of it. You're not just sitting in a classroom
No.
for those 3 hours listening to lectures for 8 weeks.
No.
You're up, and you're moving around, you're touching things, you're trying things on.
Right.
CPR involved as well.
We do some basic
Okay.
stuff. We're not like a per se first aid class. See, and what we focus on more is just basic medical, like bandaging, splints, such like that. But we do some of that. But EMA does. We also EMA does have a CERT class. I'm sorry, a first aid class and a CPR class.
Okay.
That's
That's different.
Right. This past Saturday, EMA through Richard and Cheryl Severia, who are also part of our EMA group, they had a Stop the Bleeding class at Scouters Hall in North Smithville. I think there were 45 people that were there.
Wow.
Yes, great.
They had a big class of people. So again, EMA is very involved in first aid.
In the other towns around Rhode Island, are EMA and firefighters and police officers, are they almost required to take this test or not test, this class?
No.
Or do they get something on their own in their own individual towns?
No, there are some cities and towns that do have. I know Providence has a CERT class. There are certain communities that do. Not as many as they used to. It's not required.
Okay.
In some communities, the EMA director may be the police chief or the fire chief, or they may designate a person as an EMA director. And some do have CERT teams, some don't. Unfortunately, it's wavered. It's declined a little bit because of the time commitment that people might have, and that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate because it can only help. By having these kinds of programs, it's less pressure on first responders. If there's trained volunteers who can help, who are prepared, who can help out. It's less pressure, especially in a state like Rhode Island. We have limited resources, limited personnel. There's a lot of departments around the state that are short-staffed.
Yeah.
Police, fire are short-staffed. What happens if we have a statewide or we have an area-wide disaster situation that drains our resources? What are we going to do? And that's a question that it's a constant question of what we're going to do. Well, guess what? I'd rather have some preparedness. I'd rather have some knowledge. I'd rather begin to know what's going on. I mean, that's me personally what I'd like. And this class will give you that, will help you with that, with that.
Okay. And did you make your kids take the class?
Well,
Or suggest it?
my daughter is well aware of it for all for all the years that
Okay.
I've been involved in. She's aware of it. I've taught her. She has a flashlight. She has a first aid kit. She had water in her car. I've taught her. I've taught her.
Okay.
So maybe to some degree.
Okay.
More
Now-
prepared than most, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this class is only offered once a year. Is that right?
We try to do it twice a year,
Yeah.
depending on grants, depending on availability,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a constant challenge that we have with the class. But we've had some great support, and Melissa's one of our great supporters, and we appreciate her help. That's been a great help to us. But we at least twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah, at least twice a year.
Now, and it's not just for citizens in North Smithfield.
No.
Woonsocket, Cumberland,
We all-
Bonneville,
right, we all-
Massachusetts residents too?
Well, within a range,
Okay.
within a certain area. But yes, we've had a lot of people when Woonsocket takes the class. Cumberland, Lincoln, Smithfield. We've had some people from Coventry. We've had people from Providence. So we don't turn people down.
Right.
You know, we want to have a class that is well-rounded. We prefer people from our area, from Woonsocket, Cumberland, our greater area, because in times if they decide to join a CERT team, they're readily available to help in the area. We prefer that. But we have opened it up to other groups as well.
It's the CERT program. It's the Citizens Emergency Response Team. You get to be certified in this. Has anyone ever taken the class and then come back to you, years later, saying this is what happened, and because of my training from you guys, I was able to help in this situation?
It happens all the time.
Does it? Okay.
We've
So
had
it
many-
is put into
we've had
practice.
Times, yes, we've had people that have helped people, been at auto accidents, at fires, have rendered first aid in different situations. Absolutely, people traveling and certain procedures that they've taken. Yes, like I said, it's a lot of information we provide. It's up to you to sort of learn to take advantage of all that material, and there's many websites, there's many you can access to find out more information about preparedness. But yes, all the time we hear, and that's good. That means that we're helping. And
They
that's
must
what we
feel
like to do.
they must feel happy or good
Yes.
about themselves that they were able to help
Yes.
in certain situations
Right.
like
Gives
that.
people a little confidence in
Oh,
what they're
sure.
doing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right, fantastic. Well, the CERT class in North Smithfield starts on April 8th. It runs for 8 weeks. Tell us more about it, Jay, as we wrap things up with you. I'll let you give all the specifics.
Okay. Well, like I said, as you just mentioned, the class starts at April 8th on Tuesday nights from 6 to 9:30. If people have the time and they can find the time in their schedule, it's definitely worthwhile. I realize that it is a commitment, but it's a worthwhile commitment. You'll learn a lot. It's free of charge. You get certified. We provide a very good environment, a good learning environment. It's a fun, informative way to spend some of your Tuesday night. We appreciate people taking the time out to spend with us, and we realize that we appreciate it. We try to make the best of it, and I think at the end of the class, you're strangers in a class, and then by the end of the 8 weeks, you're a team.
Okay.
You're working together, and that's what we try to accomplish.
April 8th to June 3rd, 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Where does it take place?
It takes place at the Emergency Management Office at 83 Green Street in the Town Hall in the basement, in our EMA offices, and it's something that is definitely worth taking advantage of if you're able to do so.
And once again, how can people sign up for the class?
Okay. It's the web address. It's nsema@.org, or you can contact me directly at 401-230-9327.
All right, Jay Levinson from North Smithfield EMA. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Joe.
Always
Thank
great
you,
great
Melissa.
information about the CERT program that starts on April 8th. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, more Coffee and is coming your way. Please stay tuned.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
We're local and live at 99.5. Cloudy skies today with a high near 65, southwest winds up to 30 miles per hour today. Tonight, showers, possibly a thunderstorm, heavy at times. South winds swinging around to the northwest overnight up to 26 miles per hour. 100% chance of rain. Be fog as well. New precipitation amounts up to 3/4 or an inch of rain overnight tonight. Tuesday's weather, cloudy skies through mid-morning, gradually clearing, and partly cloudy skies later with a high of 53 degrees and a breeze from the northwest. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, 48 and a north wind. Thursday, cloudy skies, 65, 50-50 chance of rain. Friday, 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy and 67. Saturday, a 30% chance of rain, mostly cloudy and 52. And on Sunday, a 60% chance of April showers likely, mostly cloudy with a high of 53.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street with cloudy skies, we are up to 54 degrees. Voted gold in ON Radio's Best of the Blackstone Valley in 3 different categories: Best Furniture Store, Best Outdoor Furniture, and Best Mattress Store is Coletta's Furniture. They have a lot of new collections that have just hit the showroom floor. Come and see Coletta's Furniture 2-floor, 25,000 square foot showroom packed with great deals and brand name merchandise. Recliners, couches, dinette sets, and of course bedroom furniture with mattresses are at Coletta's Furniture, and they offer delivery, no credit needed options, and 1-year finance options. Coletta's Furniture, 598 Wood Avenue, Woonsocket.
WIC is a supplemental nutrition program that plays a crucial role in improving the health and well-being of children by providing families with access to healthy foods, nutritional education, and other essential services. WIC programs help improve the long-term health outcomes of mothers and children by ensuring all eligible families have access to cost-free nutrition resources they need to thrive. If you or someone you know could benefit from WIC, go to health.ri.gov/WIC, sponsored by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
We hope you've been writing down all our businesses of the day as we announce them each day, because remember, next week, the calling out of the businesses of the day is over, and the writing them down, sending them into the station, and winning our $100, $75, or $50 gift cards to the business of the day of your choice begins.
Our final business of the day for today, Monday, March 31st, is Kelcar Q Barbecue. So write that one down, KELCARQ BBQ. There you go. Write that one down and then bring the lists in to us. You can either mail them in at 985 Park Avenue, Woonsocket, Rhode Island, 02895, or walk them into the station. That's just as easy. But get them here soon, because we're pulling the 3 winners on Friday, April the 4th, around 8:30 on the Coffee and program. $100 gift card, $75 gift card, and a $50 gift card from one, and the 3 winners get to pick from one of the participating businesses of the day. So get them in.
Get them here
as you can
before 8 a.m. on
right.
Friday.
So we got a note that was called in, Melissa, and it goes like this. They're just looking for thoughts and opinions, and it basically deals with DOGE, D-O-G-E, Department of Government Efficiency. And so we got a quote here from Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, who says the government can do a better job for the American people at a better price. Critics, and that's what Scott said. Critics have described Elon Musk's DOGE as, quote, an unelected shadow government operating beyond the limits of the Constitution and the separation of powers, and doing so with no accountability, unquote. In reality, government staffers engineered a, quote, hostile takeover of the federal government. This is from a USA Today columnist that was also in the Sunday's Providence Journal. So, thoughts on this?
Okay. Can the government be more efficient and cut spending and do that for the taxpayers? Absolutely. Is hiring a team, like you said, that's been unelected, that's just going to make these cuts without, going through the proper channels, going through the legislature, that is run by a man that, I'll reserve my comments, but, I think before you go slashing, you need to understand what it is and what the functions are of the departments, right?
Did you hear over the weekend maybe it was last Friday, and I don't know if it's true or not, because you never know if they're giving you the right information.
Right.
But the Small Business Administration says they gave a loan to a 9-month-old baby. Now, are they telling the truth? Doge?
Who knows?
I hope so. Did the SBA actually do this? Obviously, it's a fraudulent loan going to somebody. Maybe they did. But here we are on the outside looking in.
Have you ever tried to, for anyone who's ever tried to get a small business loan, I'd like them to explain to me how that happens, right? I mean, you have to jump through hoops. You have to provide a ton of paperwork to the SBA. You know, they walk you through the process. That's their job.
That's just one example.
Yeah, right.
I'm hearing. You hear all this, of course.
The folks are also saying, oh, well, 100 people who are dead are receiving Social Security payments. Yeah. Any person that runs a funeral home or, does any work with the deceased will tell you that they have to fill out paperwork to submit, that this person is deceased. So I think... Don't always trust everything you read.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, we can do a much better job of being more efficient. There's no doubt about that. But that's like me, my first year in the Senate, being on the Senate Finance Committee, and them saying, "Okay, what do you want to cut?" Okay, well, this seems like it's not worthwhile. Let's cut this. This seems like it's not worthwhile. Let's cut that. Well, come to find out, you don't know anything about the department or what they do or who they help. Which is why we hear. Every single budget article, every single department comes in front of us to tell us what they do, who they help, how would they use the money. You may not agree. Mm-hmm. You may say, well, I don't agree with you using the money that way. But at least you're making an informed decision when you're passing a budget of what gets funded and what doesn't, and what needs more funding and what needs less funding. I just can't imagine me not knowing anything and going in there and saying, oh, I know about computer programs and I know about cryptocurrency and I think this is not valuable and I'm going to cut this and it's going to end up hurting people. It's going to end up hurting elderly kids, SNAP benefits or anything else. I think it's very dangerous to do.
Okay, and part of it to say, well, it's an unelected shadow government operating beyond the limits of the Constitution and separation of powers, doing so with no accountability. All I can think is Trump has put the word out that whatever Elon Musk and his team have decided, he's got my full blessing on it, no matter what he says. So if he's talking to you, I'm talking to you.
Elon Musk is running the country right now.
You must have worked for a boss one at times down the road that said, if I'm not here and Joe or Ellen is speaking, they're speaking for me too. So follow what they say.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
That's what we got.
Doesn't make it okay.
No. But basically saying when you're talking to Elon, you're talking to me, so he's got the power. So just do it. So
an unelected non-American.
So all right. In other news, here in Woonsocket, Woonsocket police are investigating a stabbing. It happened Sunday night that left a man in critical condition. Channel 12 was down on Elm Street around 6:30 last night, and they saw Woonsocket police along with their canine unit searching the area. Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates said a man showed up at Landmark Medical Center with stab wounds. He was then taken to Rhode Island Hospital. Mm-hmm. No word on any suspects or what led up to the stabbing at this time. This is an ongoing story that we'll keep a watch on.
Yeah, so that person's still at large.
Yes, unless he stabbed himself, but I think they would have said that. And it doesn't say where on Elm Street it was either. Yeah. So are we talking more towards Wood Avenue, or is it more towards Cass Avenue?
Well, hopefully.
Or somewhere in between.
The police will do their job and figure it out. They're
Yep.
very good at that.
Yes. All right. So that's
you think you can hide, but you can't.
And sad news out of West Warwick: a man was killed when a tree fell on him. This happened over the weekend. Friday afternoon, and the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim's name and age have not been released yet. No one else was injured. So West Warwick Police and the medical examiner are investigating this incident. This said wasn't a branch. I guess they're saying the whole tree.
Yikes!
Yeah.
What does it say? Whether he was
Triple.
trying to cut the tree down, or
I don't have that information.
like you're
It
walking
doesn't
and you're
say.
taking a nice walk, and then
Have you ever seen a tree fall over on its own?
I don't think so.
I have, and I'm not talking a big oak or
Yeah.
something like that. It was a small tree. Had a few roots, a couple of branches coming off the roots, and it reached maybe about 6 feet, maybe 7 or 8 feet tall. So it wasn't very big, but it was during a very big windstorm.
Yeah.
And I was just on my front porch, and the whole tree just keeled over into my driveway. I'm like, wow.
Boom.
I've never seen that happen before.
Right. And if it's a big tree, you
Oh,
don't.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you don't see it coming. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like-
and it's hopefully instant.
Yeah, and now it created a lot more work for me. I had to go get a saw, and I had to
Right.
cut it up so we could use the driveway again. But it's weird to see
Yeah, freak accident. Yeah.
a tree just fall over under its, not under its own power, but it just happens to
happens,
fall
I
over, and it
guess.
does. All right, and so we got
I've only ever seen that afterwards, after after a hurricane.
okay.
Yeah, with big roots coming out.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So we got another candidate for Father of the Year.
Okay. Great.
I say that firmly,
Yeah.
tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Foster
Oh.
man's been arrested for DUI with a child in his car. Don't know if it's his. Maybe it is his. 39-year-old Frank. I need Steve Peluso. Campanone, something like that. Saturday night, his vehicle matched a Rhode Island State Police description of a car in an earlier hit and run in Providence. Oh, good.
Oh, great.
Warwick police have charged him with driving under the influence with a child passenger under the age of 12. State police have charged him for the hit and run on Route 6.
So he had a child in his car. He was drunk. He hit
Yes.
somebody.
Well, he hit someone in Providence. I don't know.
Left the scene.
On Route 6, that goes into Providence.
Yeah.
You can make the assumption that he was drunk at that time too, but it doesn't say that.
Right.
He was just driving under the influence when they got him in Warwick. He's from Foster. Got all that? Got that triangle?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there you go, and he's under arrest now. So we got a note called in 7661240. Just some more information on the stabbing on Elm Street. According to the caller, it happened near LeBrun Street, which is just before you reach Cass Avenue.
Yep.
So it's
Okay.
that end
Okay.
of Elm as opposed to the other end. So
Yikes.
okay, so you're kind of sort of almost near the
hospital.
Cass Park, and oh yeah. So all right,
I mean,
always good to be close by, right?
I guess if you are stabbed multiple times, you can walk to the hospital. It's a good thing.
So
You would think that the person who was stabbed would say like, oh, this person, did it to me. But
you would think that, but a lot of times they don't,
yeah,
because something else is going on.
Right. There's
And
always something
I'm not
else going on.
I'm not going to cooperate. But someone tried to kill you. Doesn't matter. I don't know who. I don't
Fear
know who it
or
was.
whatever.
It could
Right,
Be, could be fear. Could be another one.
Yep.
Or I'll get my own retribution at some other time. So
No, I wasn't going there. I was
Peop-
thinking more like
people
somebody
are
was
fun.
fearful, but hopefully not.
I always go for revenge. Hi, Dave.
Hi. Well, it could be that they're concerned about revenge on them if they tell the police officers
Maybe.
what it's
Yeah.
going
That's
to be.
right.
So
You better not say
don't
anything.
tell anybody I did this, so you're in
Yeah.
trouble.
Or you could be-
Bigger
it'll-
trouble than you are now.
It'll be worse. Yeah. So okay. So Dave's all excited.
I am.
Yeah. Because
He looks excited.
and he's going to miss it. And so he's excited and upset.
The
because
CERT classes. I won't be here for the first one.
Well, that's true. But the big traffic pattern change on Route 146.
Yes, we've been seeing it come
I
along.
miss all the fun.
Last week they paved that
I
new
was watching
lane.
them pave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you're going north on 146, you'll switch over to the right. And,
Well, they will guide you
eventually.
onto
Yeah.
the new pavement going
Yeah.
north that they just made. And those who are coming south will have a choice of stopping at the light like they are now, or taking the flyover on the actual piece of pavement we've been using thus far for northbound.
I was wondering if that's how that was going to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
It will then be the southbound lane, and the new lane they just made will be the northbound lane, and there will be one flyover lane for both directions, one each.
Fantastic.
Well, that'll help out a lot.
A lot,
It
yeah.
will be. Just try to get down to Providence or Lincoln or something like that from Woonsocket, and depending on the time of day,
And that it does
add
I don't
15
know,
All the time.
minutes.
All the time.
I don't know if it says it here, but that lane's going north, that almost looks like it's 2 lanes. You know how you're in 1 lane going
Yeah.
north now? When I look over there to the right to see what they were paving, I said that looks like 2 lanes over there.
Well, eventually there will be 4.
Right.
So it may be like 1.5, but they've got to,
Okay.
yeah. So, but they've got to now add a lane to the west side of the flyover.
Yeah.
That's the one closest to Anchor and the Sunoco station.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's 2 lanes there you can drive on now. As you can see, they have an unfinished side to the flyover. So they're going to put another lane and a finished side to that flyover.
But still be aware when you're driving on 146 of people that decide, oh, I'm in the wrong lane.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Because it happened to me again this morning.
Oh no!
Yeah.
no,
Yes.
no. It's not even that.
I said, I'm watching this guy. I said, I know he's going to cut over.
You
I
can. You
he's gonna
always
cut
know
over.
because
Right.
they live
I am-
and tell you
I'm
like, oh,
back-
I'm not too sure.
I'm backing up.
Yep.
I'm slowing down because I don't want him to hit me or cut me off. And so I gave him plenty of room. And sure enough, zoom, just before that split,
Yeah.
he got right into the left.
No,
hand. I said,
it-
I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
I have a far more cynical point of view than you on that. And I know that's not usually the roles we play on the radio, but my personal view is that I know what they're doing. They're passing me on the right so they can go down and cut in
Yes.
front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going much slower than I need to be going, because people keep cutting in. But that's the sort of thing's been going on for
Oh,
decades.
I know it's not going to stop.
Oh, kids, yeah, that's
Now it's going to happen on the
that's-
southbound side.
That's me first, and the heck with everybody else mentality
Oh, I
is
don't
what
want
it
to stop
is.
at the light. I got to get over.
Remember
it.
how excited we were when that northbound lane opened up, and then the first time I went over it, I was like, "Wee!" I think I did like audibly like "Wee."
It was fun.
So this is gonna happen again. The first time that I'm going to the State House, and I'm going over, and I'm like, "Wee."
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, but more coming your way. We ask you to please stick around.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's time for the 15th annual Breakfast with the Saints at the St. Anarton Cultural Center on Sunday, April 27th from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Enjoy a delicious breakfast buffet under the center's magnificent frescoes. Tickets are $20 in advance or $25 at the door and are available at Belo's Flowers, Creative Impressions, The Honey Shop, Pine Swamp Place, Timeless Antiques, Vaux's True Value Hardware. Visit the St. Anarton Cultural Center website, or to reserve a table, call 401-486-9380.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, it is Coffee In on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan, along with Melissa Murray and Dave Richards.
Melissa
is here
Murray.
here as well.
Who does not have, and I always give an update on the color of her eyeglasses,
Well, it's tough to
and
do
she's not
today.
wearing them today.
Nope.
So I went to the eye doctor on
Yes.
Friday, and I wear progressive lenses because now I can't see near or far.
No,
I've been
because you're a Democrat. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
You're progressive. Progressive in every
See,
way,
now why
right?
do they call them progressive lenses? No.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I know
Because
some
they
blind
get
Republicans
progressively
too.
thicker as you go
Yes,
down.
right.
Yeah,
There's
right.
two. They're
Change
not
the
single
prescription.
vision.
That's
so
right.
I decided I wanted to try the
Bifocal?
Yeah, bifocal.
Or trifocal?
I think they're technically bifocal.
Yeah.
Contact lenses. So they're working out so far.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm just
Well,
gonna
how
get
do they
used
do
to
that?
them.
Because you must have one that's one prescription, one that's another prescription, right? And then you just change eyes?
No.
No?
There's it's double two
Well, that's
prescriptions
ridiculous
in the
because it
same
stays
one
in the same place.
because there's a weight on the bottom. You don't feel it.
Oh.
Right.
I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah, yeah. So they just stay in the right place.
Okay. Well.
I mean, it takes a while. Like when you first put them in, you know, you gotta like
Oh,
make
you
sure
get a
they
new
settle.
pair of glasses, you got a little time to adjust.
Yeah, yeah. Just for a little like Cookie Monster at first, right? It's just like your eyes are rolling around, but they're so far working out well because I used to use when I used to use single vision contact lenses, I'd have to wear readers.
Yeah.
But summer's coming, and I am going to get to the beach this summer, so I can't be wearing my very expensive condensed glasses to the beach and lose them. Because that would be really bad. I wouldn't be able to get home.
Well,
There was no
I would
way.
I would much rather wear glasses to the beach than contacts. If you lose a contact, yikes on a stick. You ain't finding it again in the beach sand.
But at least you have one. So remember the day that I went fishing and I caught those two fish?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. That morning, I had put my contact lens in inside out. I didn't want to wear my glasses on the boat because I just didn't want to lose them in the water. Very. So I had put it in inside out. I said, my eyes really bothering me. And as I was walking onto the boat, because it was inside out, my lens popped off. And so I actually had one contact lens in that day when I went fishing, but at least I could see out of one eye.
Okay.
And I caught
And you caught
I
a
got
big
two,
fish.
two,
big
right?
fish, right.
So I mean, I think that was beginner's luck. But
Have you eaten them yet, by the way?
Oh, those are long gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Richard Chamberlain passed away over the weekend.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Kildare.
He was a
Yeah.
heartthrob back in the early 60s.
90 years old.
That's a good run.
It's funny, he was a heartthrob. Did you know he was gay?
Well, I didn't. I don't pay
I
attention
think
to
so.
that.
I
stuff.
don't,
It's
I don't
nobody's-
remember if I knew or not.
Nobody's business.
No,
I mean,
but
I
when it
don't
came
care.
out, it bummed out a lot of women because they loved him.
I think I knew that, but I forgot it.
So he was in the Shogun miniseries. Then later
Yeah.
on, he was in the Thornbirds miniseries.
Yes.
So
yeah.
he was known as King of the miniseries.
Yeah.
He's also
But that Dr. Kildare thing that he did on TV really got him going.
Yep. But he was also in the Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
Plays the bad guy. He never plays the bad guy, and he is the bad guy in that movie. So if you want to see him play the bad guy, take a look at that. All right. So over the weekend, the protesters were out in force at Tesla dealerships across the country on Saturday. More than 200 demonstrations were held in what organizers called a global day of action. They are targeting Tesla because they believe CEO Elon Musk is using his wealth to fund political actions they view as a threat to democracy. Musk's role as the head of Doge has raised anger and concern. The group is calling for peaceful demonstrations as they urge people not to buy Tesla's, dump company stock, and join their protest movement.
All right.
Now, in lieu of that,
yeah.
in Watertown, Massachusetts, 2 protesters outside a Tesla dealership in Watertown were injured after they were hit by a pickup truck.
Because they wouldn't move for the pickup truck.
Probably. The protesters were participating in the Global Day of Action, and they were on Pleasant Street in Watertown, if you know where that is, where they were clipped by the side mirror of the truck.
Oh.
Have you ever been on a picket line, Joe?
I have never. No.
There's a mentality that develops amongst you and the others who are working the scene.
Are you infallible?
No. That, we must have the maximum amount of effect on the normalcy that would go on here if we weren't here. We have to impact the most number of people and be as vocal as we can and cause as much negative change as we possibly can in order for people to deal with us the way we want to be dealt with. And so you get this mentality where somebody wants to come in. Oh, you can't come in here. We're picketing here. You can't come in here. No, if it were employees or something, you would call them scabs and that sort of thing like that. That sort of thing would go on, and you would refuse. You would refuse to move, and let the truck hit you in order to coerce the driver into changing their decision and going away without coming into the property. And so if you've been there and you've seen that kind of mentality, you've seen that sort of thing happen, you say, oh, yeah, fine. So you got a couple of people who were stupid. They came over and they dared the truck to hit them, and the truck hit them.
The victims were not seriously hurt. So
of course not.
It doesn't say anything as if the driver.
Notice they don't lay down in front of the truck because that would really hurt.
That would really hurt.
They don't put their feet or legs underneath the truck because that would really hurt.
Doesn't it say they got clipped by the truck's
That's right. The mirror.
That's
right,
because they were
mirror that's sticking out.
Not like by the grill.
So I have been a part of multiple protests in over my life. And we have always stayed on the sidewalk, and I never have experienced anybody blocking traffic. I mean, multiple protests or informational pickets, right? For sure, if it's a labor organized picket, some people will walk through a picket line. I personally am not one of those people, but some people will, and they do get booed. But I have never experienced anybody like blocking traffic or doing any of those things in any of the protests
But these aren't informational pickets.
That I've been.
Informational pickets is an organized thing. This is just.
We don't want you buying the car.
Yeah,
I've been to those too.
This is an.
I've been to those too.
This is not an informational picket.
But
I know that it isn't. I know that it isn't. But I've been to those too, and I just haven't. I haven't experienced that. Like it's more about the
Well, I've
vocal
experienced the
and
mentality.
It's too bad we don't
On the
have the
picket
information.
line.
Was the person in the pickup truck? Were they trying to get into the dealership? Maybe he worked there. Well, she worked there. Like he fixes cars. I don't know. Or were they just driving by? Or were they a customer?
Were they?
No, it doesn't
right.
say.
It doesn't say. It doesn't
So,
say. Like were the
so I
folks
don't
on the
know.
sidewalk and the guy drove by and
it just says outside a Tesla dealership.
They don't care. They're
So-
trying to provoke people's opinion. They're saying, "Oh no, they're hitting the poor protesters, the vehicles. They're running them down like animals and streets."
some people
and-
do though.
All right.
Some people
Right.
do.
Have you seen the funny picture on?
By the way, can I just
What?
say a word
I
about
got a
Elon
funny
Musk?
story. Real quick.
I've been waiting patiently.
Yes.
The funny picture is there's a picture of the Tesla truck, and someone has superimposed Toyota on the back, trying to fool people. Okay, go Dave.
So nobody bothers them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, even though, and this is a personal opinion, so lawyers relax. Even though Mr. Musk has never exhibited a behavior that I've admired, that Mr. Musk kind of creeps me out with his behaviors that I've been exposed to. I just haven't found a way to love the guy.
You don't have to
Stop and well, I'm trying to be nice because I'm ignorant of what he's really like. I've never spent time with him. I've never shaken his hands. All I've been exposed to is what he's let me be exposed to from public image. All right, so understanding that, take a couple steps back. If the President of the United States, any President of the United States, duly authorized, sworn in, looked at you and said, hey, listen, I got a big job for you. And I think you've got the temperament for it. It's going to make history. You're going to get a lot of pressure. You're going to get a lot of problems out of this. But if you've got the guts for it, I've got a job for you. How many of us wouldn't consider doing it? I mean, if in true, the President of the United States, whom you know, says, hey, I got a dirty job to do, and I want to ask you to do it. Will you do it? How many would turn it down? Some would. Some wouldn't. But I'm saying to myself, all first impressions of Elon Musk aside, any citizen of this country would give some consideration to doing the job that the President of the United States personally asked you to do. Don't you think?
I would have pause.
I didn't say you wouldn't have pause. You'd give some consideration, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I would consider it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Depends
those
on
things
what I'm being
happen
asked
once
to
in a
do and
lifetime.
who's asking
Those
me,
things
right?
happen once in a lifetime, and when you say no, they never ask again.
Well, we got to run because we're running out of time. But I did want one more thing because it's funny. The owner of a kangaroo that escaped.
Oh yes,
in
the
Florida,
kangaroo. Yeah.
will have to pay almost $1,000 in fines.
Yeah.
Scott Mitchell pleaded no contest Wednesday to possession of captive wildlife for commercial or sanctuary purposes without a permit.
Without a permit.
Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't have
That's
a permit for
right.
his marsupial.
Now, the kangaroo escaped last October when a bear entered the enclosure, so the kangaroo took
What a
off.
mess.
Of course.
The kangaroo was on the loose for nearly 3 weeks, and while owning a kangaroo is legal in Florida, his permit had expired.
Well, if you're going to own a kangaroo in Florida, make sure
that
you keep your permit up to date and
Yes.
maybe put a top on the enclosure since they can jump.
So, well, I mean, yeah, that's probably how the bear got in. All right, so that'll do it for the show. Thanks to Jay Levinson, who was here earlier talking about North Smithfield's shirt. Thank you
Very
very much, Jay.
informative. Thank
Yeah,
you, Jay.
yeah.
Dave, thanks for being here as well.
All righty.
All right, and Melissa, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, I'm Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned for Leslie Page at the Library is coming up, followed by Food First with Karen Zangari. Tiki Bar tonight at 6 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. 16 people are displaced after a weekend fire in their Providence home. Fire crews responded to surrender